Welcome back to the channel, Hosers. This is Backdoor Tactical coming to you with another tabletop review. This is my Taurus PT1911, chambered in 45. I'd just like to point out that today I woke up and I noticed that my channel has exceeded 500 views, which is quite the milestone for me. I didn't think we'd get there, but you know, 500 views combined in about 8 days is not that bad, I don't think. So guys, do me a favor, a huge favor, just if you like the video, just hit that little thumbs up. If you learned something from the video, hit the subscribe button. And for all the ladies out there, if you like what you see, then you could slide into my DMs and we'll go from there. So today we're going to look at this 1911 that I did show you in one of my previous videos when I was focusing on the Smith & Wesson E-Series Anniversary Edition. I thought maybe we'd take a closer look at this one. So as you can see right off the bat, the color looks a little off from what you would get stock. That's because I had it Cerakoted in, this is called their tungsten. So yeah, it looks more like a darker stainless steel. I'll roll in pictures of what it was stock, but this is definitely a little bit darker. I've had this gun. This is actually the second gun I ever bought. So I've had this for over 10 years now. And I'll be honest, the fit and finish on it when I first got it was not very durable. It showed a lot of scratches, especially up here for some reason. But the stainless finish didn't really hold up very well. So that's why I decided to have it Cerakoted, and I think it looks great. I had this done by a shop out in Calgary called Black Box Customs, and they did a phenomenal job. So you could see you lose a little bit of the detail in the stock engraving. It's hard to make out. In fact, it's actually pretty difficult to make out my serial number. I'd actually have to look at my barrel to see my serial number because it was faint to begin with, and the Cerakote kind of covered it. But I think they did a tremendous job. So let's just go through the pistol. First and foremost, I want to point out that I did change the grips. These are VZ, I believe these are the Alien grips. VZ grips. I think they're called the Alien 2. Very aggressive, or maybe they're the Operator. I'm not sure, guys. But very aggressive. These are actually a little rough. When you're shooting prolonged periods of 45, it is actually a little too aggressive, I find. For extended range day, it really starts grinding into your hand. Great for carry. Great for outdoor shooting if you were shooting an IPSC match. If your hands get wet, dirty, sweaty, bloody, whatever you want, these are going to hold up extremely well. But if you're just going to the range to shoot a couple hundred rounds, a little too aggressive, I find. And then on top of that, I don't know if the camera could pick it up, but they do add a little bit of thickness, so much so that it's actually, I can't hit that slide stop. It's kind of difficult. I have to really focus on reaching it. I don't have the largest hands, but as you can see, it becomes a little bit difficult for me. So the stock grips were just these ugly black grips, nothing special, you know, just black grips, you know, slight checkering, kind of disappointing, thin, but you know, a little disappointing. So that's why I changed them out. And then I threw in these screws. If you can see, stainless screws. These are Ed Brown 804 stainless screws. So pistol came with 2 magazines, I believe 8 rounders by Mech-Gar. Nothing special, they work. I find that this one has trouble with the 10-round Kimber magazines. So just be careful, guys, because it is a little finicky. I've never really had problems with feeding it ballpoint ammo, but it doesn't like hollow point. But just 230 grain regular ballpoint ammo is fine. So let's just start at the back, and you'll see it's got a backstrap checkering. I think that's 20 LPI. You know, not too bad, not too aggressive, but nice attention to detail. Fit and finish, you could see It's not bad. I will say that this gun does have pretty loose tolerances, and we'll get into that when I do the takedown. But the one interesting thing you'll see here is that it has a little wrench or little insert there on this hammer, and it comes with a key where you can lock it out. So it actually has an internal safety where you can lock that out and then it won't fire. And I think that's pretty cool. You know, it defeats the purpose for us in Canada of using a trigger lock, because you could just lock it back here and the gun becomes inoperable. So that's a nice touch. I don't see that very often. Magazine release is nice. Front strap check ring on the frame and on the trigger underguard. So that's a nice touch too. You don't see that too often. You know, a little attention to detail. And I should point out, this is, you know, I would call it a budget 1911. It's not the cheapest you can get, but it's definitely not the most expensive. Unfortunately, this being my second gun, I rushed into it and I didn't price check and shop around. So I definitely overpaid for this. I believe I paid $1,000 for this. And, you know, a couple years later, I seen them going for, in the black color, I seen them going for $5.95 in Canada. So I definitely got hosed on this one. You know, live and learn. Do your shopping. Know what you're paying and what the alternatives are. The reason I settled on this one is because when I went to the shop, I had my eye on a Kimber. And the Kimber was $450 more. And when I had them in my hands, I couldn't really tell the difference. And so I went with this one. I saved myself the 400 bucks. And, you know, it's been perfectly fine. I don't want to say I made the wrong decision. I definitely like Kimbers, but this gun has been ultimately reliable, and it's held up. Like I said, the only thing I've done to it in 10 years is change the recoil spring, which I'll show you. So extended beaver tail to get right up in there. Ambi safety, definitely, you know, flimsy safety. Like when I show you my STI and Smith & Wesson, you hear a definitive click. This one, it's mushy. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit mushy. Trigger's, you know, 1911, what you would expect. Not the best, but definitely not bad. Very short reset, and, you know, I'd say it's probably 4.5, 5 pounds. It's not bad. You know, just like I said, attention to detail. It's a little wobbly in there, whereas some of my other 1911s are rock solid. So it's a little flimsy. Sights, 3-dot white sights. I believe it's a Novak rear. They're okay. If I was going to spend money, I would probably change out this front sight and black out the rear. Maybe just put nail polish on these rear and put a nice fiber optic, but that's about it. So you got rear serrations, front press check serrations, which are a nice touch. Again, you know, just little things like that you don't normally see on a 1911. So you got that. Full length stainless steel guide rod. Nice touch. It's obviously a bushing barrel, as you can see there. And I'd say I've probably put maybe 4,000 or 5,000 rounds through this. And aside from changing the recoil spring, I've done nothing. So, you know, you can't complain about what you get. It's been really reliable. Takedown, I'll use the tool. Normally I don't, but I'll use it for today. So you just, which one is it? So you just twist, and the spring's going to want to come out. Oops, went the wrong way. So you see that, guys? You just relieve the tension, the spring comes out, and then the bushing will come out. I've seen other people do it. I've always done it that way. Let me know what you guys do, because I've seen other people, before they relieve the tension on the spring, they take out the slide stop. And in fact, that's how you have to do it with the STIs. I've always done the spring first. Let me know what you guys do in the comments. I wonder if I'm doing it wrong, if it's better to do it this way. But once you get that spring out, you'll see it's no longer under tension, so you can move it freely. there's a little divot, not this first divot, but the second divot. And what happens is this slide stop actually just pops right out. And you'll see how easy that comes out. So you got your frame, trigger mechanism in there, full length guide rod. And then your barrel, you just push this little retaining nut forward and the barrel will slide out through the front. So you just have to push it down so you could clear the hood. Okay, so there you have it, guys. You know, nice barrel. That's what it looks like after 4,000 or 5,000 rounds, maybe even more, if I'm being honest. That might be on the conservative side. So, you know, it's not showing too much wear. I have lubed it up already. I haven't shot this. I got it back from Black Box and I lubed it up, and it's been sitting in the safe due to the pandemic closures. So you see, it looks pretty good. I wanted to quickly show you these that I bought. These are from Amazon. They're little syringes that come with different types of needles. And I believe Amazon calls it the glue kit, but Amazon X0027G4G65. And you could pick this up for a few bucks. And what I do is I take a syringe, fill it with Go Juice, and then what I do is all the steel parts, steel on steel, you want to lubricate. So I would just put some there, light thin layers there on the rail. On the inside of this rail right here, you see, guys, right there on each side. I typically lube the bushing too, so a little bit here, a little bit on the inside, and that's about it. I sometimes put a little on the barrel just to keep it coated. I don't think it hurts. So that's the takedown, and that's your frame. Here's the little knob that controls the safety. You see it's a little spring. I wonder if I could change that, maybe get it a little bit more snappy. Not sure. So the reason I wanted to show you the takedown is because, as I was saying, with this gun having such loose tolerances, this takedown, as you could see, was very, very easy. I made the mistake of thinking all 1911s would be that easy, and when I got my new Smith & Wesson 1911, it wasn't coming apart as easy because the tolerances were so much tighter, and I was getting frustrated. And when I was going to put it back in, I was trying to force things, which you should never do. And I got one of those idiot scratches. So for those guys out there who don't know what the idiot scratch is, that's when you're trying to put the slide stop back in, and you kind of, as you're trying to push it in and up, you scratch the frame with this. This part goes in, is supposed to slide in and up, and I scratched the frame. So it just, you know, that's what you get. The gun is really reliable because the tolerances are loose. I find that, you know, it doesn't mind dirt, and because of that, it's easy to take down. So just be careful, guys, if you are getting a 1911. If it is a little tight, they are meant to be tight. You know, some of the custom shops like Les Bear or Nighthawk recommend you actually shoot 1,000 rounds first before you try to take it down because it's so tight. So just be careful. So again, maybe I'll just go through this. To put the gun back together, you obviously slide the barrel in. So again, nut down, slide it in through the front, let it lock into place. See how it locks in there? Bushing. So the bushing works that there's a little retaining divot there, so you have to slide it in. It goes into the divot, and then it could move left and right freely. So guide rod goes in. So this is how I put it back together. And again, guys, if you do it different, let me know. So what I like to do is, you see how the nut's down, guide rod's there, and then you slide it back in. And again, what you want to do is line up that divot right there so that the pin can go in, and in here you're going to try to catch that barrel bushing with your nut, with your slide stop. So you just have to line it up, and then once you get it lined up right there, you could just pop this in. So again, you want to kind of start down and then just slide it up and in. So that's it. And so like I said, this is how I do it, because now we need to get that spring in. So what I do is I put the safety on, which prevents the slide from going back, and then get my spring, cover it. I usually don't use the tool. What you want to do is just push it down and see how I caught it. All you have to do is catch it a little bit, and now we get your tool, and you're just gonna twist it and then watch it snap into place. And then that's it. Safety off, and that's it. So very simple. I can tell you right now, my other 1911s wouldn't go in that easy. This one, you don't even have to worry about sliding it in and up. This one just goes in because, like I said, the tolerances are pretty loose on this. So one thing I should warn you is they say not to, on an empty chamber, to slam your slide forward like that, which I just did. Don't do that. They say it causes too much energy transfer, and it could actually damage the, I don't know if it's the firing pin, but they say it's just too much energy. When you have a round in there, the round is absorbing some of it. You know, you're grabbing the round, loading it, and that's cushioning. So try not to do that. I don't know if it damages the firing pin or the sear, but they say don't do that. So just be careful with that. So not much else to say about this gun, guys. I highly recommend the VZ grips. Maybe not the Alien, but the Operator. Great addition. These I find a little too aggressive for target shooting. If you are going to be carrying it or using it for IPSC, then these ones are a great option. But ultimately, reliable gun. I highly recommend this pistol if you could pick it up for $500–600 Canadian, probably even cheaper in the US. I would love to get my hands on one of these in 9mm just to see how those are. But otherwise, been really happy with it, especially for a budget 1911. I don't think you can go wrong. So if you have any questions or concerns, please give me a comment or a message, and I'll do my best to answer it. Otherwise, guys, take care and have a great day.